LA This Week.
You're drunk and chronically addicted. Do you end up in jail or the county hospital? Neither, city leaders say. I'm Anna Marcos, and we'll have more on the new LA Fire Department's Sober Unit coming up.
LACMA presents its first ever solo exhibit from a Korean-American artist. I'm Gil Reyes with more on how a near-death experience influenced these works.
I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, a special gift from the city that's helping empower young teen moms.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, people living on the streets who are chronically addicted to drugs or alcohol now have a new alternative to jail or the ER. Anna Marcos has more on the LA Fire Department's new Sober Unit.
It's an all too common sight on the streets of Skid Row. Chronically addicted or intoxicated people stumbling or even passed out on the street. City leaders have an answer. The LA Fire Department's new Sober Unit, an ambulance with a nurse, a case manager, and paramedic that treats the patient. And in a joint city-county effort, the patient is then taken to the county's David L. Murphy Sobering Center for extra help and possibly long-term treatment.
They told me some very heartfelt stories of people out in the streets who were in tears. And they couldn't believe that this resource was here and they were going to take them to the Sober Center, not to the county hospital, not to jail, to get food, to start detox, and to perhaps find a pathway to housing.
It's providing the people with actual, or linking them to care they actually need versus just going to the hospital and sobering up.
The Sober Unit is a pilot program making its debut on Skid Row. It goes the extra mile in giving clients much-needed supportive services. For city leaders, it's just one piece of the puzzle in the fight to end homelessness.
The Sober Unit will save time, it will save money, but most importantly, it will save lives. People who have been caught in a cycle of desperation for too long, we want to make sure that that ends.
Since the program launched last November, this Sober Unit has helped get 100 people to the Sobering Center. A small dent, but it does take some of the load off the 1,300 emergency calls that the city gets each day.
And we'll have a positive impact on our busiest ambulances by freeing up hospital emergency room beds, which decreases hospital bed wait times.
When LAFD brings an inebriated patient to the ER, they have to stay with them until they are admitted, often resulting in a 6-hour wait. That's 6 hours that an EMT isn't responding to other calls of other Angelenos.
If the one-year program succeeds, city leaders plan to have more Sober Units throughout the city. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
City leaders say the Sober Unit is the first of its kind in the state and maybe the country. Well, turning now to the development of the LA Waterfront as a cutting-edge tenant moves into the neighborhood. Gil Reyes reports from the constantly upgrading LAFD campus in San Pedro.
The Port of Los Angeles adds another key player in its startling transformation. The KRETZ Blue Economy Incubator is coming. When completed, the building will sit within the 35-acre LAFD campus, site of San Pedro's old historic warehouses.
The jobs we had in the past, particularly the cotton and cotton compress, has disappeared. So we got to look for jobs in the future, and this is a perfect facility.
LA city leaders say the incubator will work to support marine science and other businesses related to the ocean. A perfect fit for the new port and LAFD.
LAFD is a place that we can build on a model that's working already. The clean tech incubator that we have downtown is creating green jobs, green energy, electric cars, innovations that are helping us with the environment. Here, we're going to do the same thing with oceans. And that obviously touches the environment. It creates good middle class jobs.
Thus creating more investment, more housing opportunities, and we are really excited about not only the LAFD project, but the waterfront is moving. The San Pedro Public Market, along with the Port of Los Angeles, is investing in the infrastructure. We are creating a waterfront entertainment district. All the pieces are falling together here.
From the ever-evolving LA waterfront, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Other companies coming to the port's LAFD campus include deep sea researchers, the Ocean Exploration Trust, and underwater robot makers Blue Robotics. Well, for 18 years, one organization has been touching the lives of men, women, and children who don't have a place to call home. And it all starts with an impressive assembly line of volunteers stuffing duffel bags. Raja Goel has more.
They definitely have it down to the T. Volunteers of all ages came out to lend a helping hand in assembling winter kits for homeless Angelenos. Joining them was also our very own mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, who's made it a priority to help those living on the streets.
It humanizes what is sometimes an overwhelming issue. When we see encampments and so many people on our streets, it's going to be solved one person at a time, both on the volunteer side and on the street side.
The event is put on by the nonprofit organization The Giving Spirit and is held twice a year, once in June and in December. Here, 2,700 kits were assembled for distribution. So what does go in those bags?
Hygiene product, toiletries, obviously food and hydration, things to keep them warm, things to keep them dry. We give them pads of paper and pens, so if they need to write down a number for a shelter or for a job interview, anything that you would need if you had absolutely nothing.
These kits are distributed in two different ways. While 60 to 70% of the survival kits go directly to the streets, the others...
We go to full-time homeless aid agencies that are, working 365 days a year. And we distribute in mini distribution events with them, and we'll take anywhere from 25 to 200 survival kits into agencies and distribute with our volunteers.
Some volunteers say it's that personal connection that leaves a lasting impact.
For many people that are going to be receiving these survival kits, the words that you exchange with them and just asking them their name and tell me a little bit about yourself, that's the only interaction that they have all year. Or, so that's pretty, unbelievable to think. How would you feel if you hadn't heard your name, Boris, for 6 months or 9 months or a year?
In Los Angeles County, we've got 57,000 people who are homeless, and there is not a solution. We need 57,000 solutions. Our homelessness strategy has, 60 different elements to it, and we need to implement all of it.
And these kits are one part of a larger solution. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
To find out more about the Giving Spirit or how you can help, go to thegivingspirit.org. Well, sometimes the brightest ideas come at the darkest hours. One painter has turned a harrowing experience at sea into years of artistic expression. Gil Reyes has more from LACMA. Gil.
Yes, Yana, the LA County Museum of Art proudly displays its first ever solo exhibit from a Korean American artist. But make no mistake about it, artist Young Il-an, even though he's of Korean descent, his works depict Los Angeles and Southern California.
I can paint no limit, no limit.
Young Il-an's numerous impressions of water and the Pacific Ocean are inspired by a near-death experience in 1983. As stepdaughter Serena Kim explains, an epiphany came when An set sail alone and depressed off the coast of Santa Monica. That's when heavy fog rolled in.
It was just like, oh my God, I'm really gonna die, because he'd been out there forever. He didn't know which way. He said he couldn't see 1 inch in front of him. And then the sun came through finally because the fog passed. And then he saw all the reflections of the light in the water.
An has been painting his water series of artworks ever since, and now 11 of those pieces are on display at LACMA for an exhibit called Unexpected Light. Up close, you'll notice his meticulous strokes leaping off the canvas like waves.
Different colors, different shapes, and different layouts. But then when you step back, you see something else. And I think it's that interplay between far and near that really gives a sense of dynamism to Young Il-an's works.
An had another brush with death in 2014 when he suffered a stroke which severely limited his mobility and speech. Within a year, he was back at work to create this painting. It reflects his despair and later optimism while recovering. Notice the specks of yellow peeking through the darkness.
So there's that contrast of the dark colors and then that slight, holding out for hope.
Are you a better artist after stroke?
I hope so.
And he's also the type of person, he's so young at heart, he's like a kid, that he's always hoping to become a better artist even further in the future.
Like the sea, On's work is always evolving, even at the age of 83. But with one constant, the radiant colors of the Pacific when relief and sunlight finally arrive. Reporting from LACMA, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
On's work is on display at LACMA's Hammer Building and at the Long Beach Museum of Art. A fateful connection that gave birth to some of our most iconic 60s music now lives on in a Valley street corner. We're talking about two founding members of the band The Doors. As Anna Marcos shows us, city leaders are helping celebrate a piece of history.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire.
The legendary Doors band member Jim Morrison may be long dead, but his name lives on in a San Fernando Valley intersection, along with the name of his former co-founding band member and drummer, John Densmore. Densmore, who is still alive and likes signing autographs, helped Councilmember Paul KRETZ unveil a new street sign at this Valley intersection, with his and Morrison's namesakes to mark the Day of the Doors, a celebration started by the city last year. It falls on the anniversary of a Doors album, and Densmore did a little singing of his own.
Are you a lucky little lady in the city of lights, or just another lost angel? City at night, city at night.
Okay, so these street signs weren't actually named for Jim Morrison and John Densmore. The street signs had been here for decades earlier, but it was a happy coincidence that helped Densmore discover them.
I suspect the original street signs were here for decades, probably around the 50s. But apparently John was driving past and noticed that not only was there a Densmore Avenue that he'd been aware of for years, but there actually was a Morrison Street that intersected. And it was just too perfect. It's just a wonderful little bit of LA history.
And now, more than 50 years later, fans have come out to see Densmore, though the event got no official publicity. Many of the fans born decades after the Doors' heyday.
He's looking healthy.
Jim was meant to make a big impact in a short period of time. I'm 73, and it's good to have other examples of how to do this living. And I'm on the long road. I regret losing Jim so young, but that just seemed to be his path.
The Doors, peace, love, rock and roll.
Light my fire, John! I love you. Woo!
We get the feeling this street corner just might become a Doors pilgrimage spot. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Another founding Doors member, Robbie Krieger, is also still alive. While turning now to the city's Our Cycle LA program, the next group to get free refurbished computers, young teen moms, who say the technology will help get them on the road to success. Rasha Goel has more.
Yana, I'm here at McAllister High School, where hundreds of young teen moms have received a recycled and refurbished computer. Now, for some of these moms, this gift will go a long way. Among those moms is Moo Morris, a senior at McAllister High School. She tells me how much this means to her, considering she doesn't have a computer at home.
For me, it will help me a lot because this is my last year and I want to start college, and I am working currently, and it will be a lot more helper. When I'm home, I can study more.
The distribution is part of a recycle program which was developed by the city's Information Technology Agency and Council President Herb Wesson.
We take refurbished city computers with human IT that does the refurbishment, and they're providing jobs. We get sponsorship from companies like today eBay, in which they pay for the internet, and it's free of charge, distributed to families in need.
What makes the program really a kick-butt program is that we also work with Sprint, and they get what's called a hotspot, where they get free internet until the year 2021.
The city hired the nonprofit organization Human IT to upgrade the city's old PCs with the latest Windows 10 software. Over the last 3 years, the program has distributed more than 3,000 recycled computers.
The benefit of doing this is we're reaching out to all those families that are not able to get computers as well as internet. We're decreasing the digital divide.
And that's something many of these young women are excited about.
I believe receiving that computer will give us opportunity to expand our knowledge.
In a world that is geared towards being tech savvy, a priceless gift like this will hopefully help inspire these young women to reach for their dreams. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The Our Cycle program is also a collaborative effort with the Department of General Services and the Bureau of Sanitation. A lasting tribute on what would have been LA Mayor Tom Bradley's 100th birthday. Gil Reyes reports on this campus honor for LA's first African-American mayor.
LA Trade Tech College renames one of its buildings in honor of LA's first black mayor, Tom Bradley. Bradley's family, including daughter Lorraine, there for the dedication.
LACC, thank you so much. This is absolutely fantastic. It's just a dream come true. Yeah, really.
What was known as Redwood Hall is now called the Tom Bradley Center for Student Life, paying homage not only to the first African-American mayor in LA City history, but also the longest-serving one. Mayor Bradley served for 20 years between 1973 and 1993. He graduated from Polytechnic High School in 1937. The original campus stood where LA Trade Tech College now stands. In fact, Mayor Bradley had attended classes in the very building now bearing his name, before going on to become one of LA's most respected leaders.
He knew that to govern effectively in Los Angeles, you need to listen to all voices, assimilate the best of what they have to say.
A hero to LA City Attorney Mike Feuer and LA Trade Tech College President Larry Frank.
He actually got me into law school. That changed my life, actually. He personally wrote that letter when I was late in my application.
The Tom Bradley Center for Student Life will partly serve as a mini museum dedicated to the five-time mayor, with documentary footage of his life and rare photographs, like this one with former LA City Council member Tom LaBonge.
Whether they voted for him or not, he still loved every part of the city. He just cared about people.
A lesson for students on how to lead, how to live life. From LA Trade Tech College, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The Tom Bradley Center also houses one of the city's WorkSource centers, offering job training and access to computers for those looking for work. Well, Abracadabra, a venue promoting magic and magicians, pulls off what could be its greatest trick. 55 years in the business of entertaining people. Gil Reyes reports from Hollywood's famed Magic Castle.
There's a party starting at the curious Gothic mansion on Franklin Avenue. The Magic Castle, an exclusive club for some of the world's greatest magicians, celebrates its 55th anniversary. Milt Larson is one of the club's founders.
I've lived all my life in LA. I love Los Angeles, and the castle is just a wonderful thing to have. And we have 5,000 members that love coming here and having a good time.
Hollywood's famed Magic Castle first opened its doors in January 1963, serving as the headquarters for the Academy of Magical Arts and drawing a who's who in the world of entertainment and, of course, magic. Members have included illusionists Siegfried and Roy and movie star Cary Grant.
I never dreamed, of course, that Cary Grant would ever walk into a room and say, "Hi, Joni, how are you tonight?" Much less get to know him and be wined and dined and hugged and kissed by him. Thank you, Bill and Milt.
Statues of founding brothers Milt and Bill Larson are unveiled. Bill and his wife Irene have passed away, but the family legacy lives on. To enter the castle, you have to know the secret password.
Open sesame.
You also have to have either a club member provide you a guest pass or stay at the Magic Castle Hotel next door. Waiting just beyond the bookcase is a maze of nightly magic shows, dimly lit bars, and a dining hall. Think Disneyland's Haunted Mansion for adults.
To the Academy of Magical Arts and the Magic Castle on 55 magical years. Here's to many, many more.
This is escape from the world. Come over here.
Reporting from Hollywood's mysterious Magic Castle, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Visitors should know the club enforces a strict dress code. That means no denim or flip-flops. Business attire or evening wear is recommended. Well, what's your New Year's resolution? Maybe it's exercising more or a more positive attitude. Well, as Gil Reyes reports, kids in Pico Union have a chance to accomplish both, thanks to some much-needed gifts.
Even with darker days upon us, Megan Gomez rides out the winter with a bright outlook after receiving a brand new bicycle.
I'm gonna ride it, and I'm gonna try to learn how to ride it. Because some children don't have toys, and this is an opportunity for them to come and go over here and get some toys.
This toy and bike giveaway at MacArthur Park was organized by the office of Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo. 150 bicycles and 3,000 toys handed out to low-income families.
We are bringing a bit of joy and excitement, the spirit of generosity here to the community of MacArthur Park, Westlake, Pico Union.
The LAPD was also there.
Better report with the community and be out here and support.
In hopes of a safer, healthier, happier community in 2018.
We believe in you, we trust you, and we share your vision for a better future.
In MacArthur Park, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Community donations helped make the giveaway possible. While city leaders work to identify homeless encampments, 2 LA museums announced a new partnership, and an upgraded MetroLink app can save you some time during your commute. All these stories in CityBeat. LA officials announced the formation of a special task force to survey high-fire hazard zones in order to identify and clear out homeless encampments. The move comes after the December Skirball fire in Bel Air that destroyed 6 homes and was believed to have been started at an unknown homeless encampment in the Sepulveda Pass. Mayor Eric Garcetti and LA Fire Department Chief Ralph Terraza said the task force consists of personnel from the LAFD, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, and the Bureau of Sanitation, and would provide a more proactive and systematic approach than what has been done in the past to identify homeless encampments in high fire hazard zones. Terraza said any encampments that are identified will be visited by LASA and Bureau of Sanitation workers to encourage the people there to move out while also offering them services.
We cannot take this risk to these individuals who may be the first to lose their lives, to the surrounding neighbors whose property and whose lives are threatened, and the cost of these fires as well.
The Los Angeles County Museum of Art and the Autry Museum of the America West announced a new partnership between the 2 city establishments. The 2 museums will embark on an evolving and collaborative approach for museums in the 21st century. This new LACMA-Autry partnership allows both museums to expand their programming content through the sharing of collections, joint programs, exhibitions, publications, and more. An updated MetroLink mobile app will make the daily commute easier and faster for thousands of passengers who transfer from MetroLink trains to the Metro system. The 2 transportation agencies provide a free transfer from the MetroLink trains that run through 6 Southern California counties to Metro subways and buses that run throughout LA County. But passengers must wait in line after getting off the train to get a paper transfer pass. Passengers who purchase their MetroLink ticket with the agency's mobile app can now simply scan their phone while skipping the line, saving an average of 5 minutes a day. People in downtown and Westlake don't have to go very far to enjoy a day of fishing. As Gil Reyes reports, kids can boogie on down to their own backyard, MacArthur Park, for a whopper of a time.
The park in Westlake inspired a hit song written by Jimmy Webb, covered by Richard Harris, as well as disco diva Donna Summer. But MacArthur Park is also a hidden gem for inner-city slickers wanting to fish. A park with a history of crime, but as Sergio Talavera shows us, a place where you might also catch 30, 40, and if you're very lucky, sometimes 50-pound carp.
This is MacArthur Park. It's known for its ups and downs, but today, as you can see, it's about the kids here today.
Talavera is with California Ghetto Carping. The group encourages fishing in urban areas and releasing the animals back into the wild. Through a GoFundMe account and donations from sporting goods stores, they've organized this Youth Fishing Day. The first 25 kids receive free gear, and also today, no fishing license is required.
Not everybody has income to travel.
So our main goal here is to bring awareness to the people in the city that they have a nice paradise in their own backyard.
The lake is full of fish. Come on down, bring your family, bring your children, and in turn we can beautify this place. We can get together with community groups and pick up trash. We can sponsor sporting activities, dance activities.
As for recipes, you can bake, boil, or fry if you decide to keep it, and have a MacArthur Park everyone can enjoy. At MacArthur Park Lake, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Within LA City, you can also go fishing in Lake Balboa, Cabrillo Beach, and Lincoln Park Lake. And remember, unless it's a special event, fishing licenses are required for people 16 and older. While punk rock takes center stage at Union Station, take a leisurely hike at Topanga State Park, and a classic Disney tale comes to Hollywood. All this in this week's Things to Do. If you're into punk rock and indie music, check out the band Joyce Manor, an American band from Torrance, California. With their first release in 2010, they became well known for playing fun and energetic music influenced by bands such as Jawbreaker, Descendants, Weezer, Thin Lizzy, and The Smiths. They've been described as reinvigorating pop punk with a sound both familiar and refreshingly original. So grab your friends and head to Union Station on Saturday, January 20th for some truly unique sounds. Winter is the perfect time to hit the open trail in Topanga State Park, the largest state park in LA proper. This hike is a relatively flat, approximately 7-mile route that hits the well-known landmark known as Eagle Rock, and also ropes in Temescal Peak, which on a clear day can offer an incredible panorama of the city and mountains. And its combination of low elevation gains and great views make it nice and smooth for beginners. For more, visit parks.ca.gov. From the producer of The Lion King comes the timeless story of Aladdin, a thrilling new production filled with unforgettable beauty, magic, comedy, and breathtaking spectacle. It's an extraordinary theatrical event where one lamp and 3 wishes make the possibilities infinite. Aladdin is playing at the Pantages Theater until March 31st. For more, visit aladdinthemusical.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.